I'm Amni Jani, and as a part of Virtual Teachers Day celebration, I'm going to deal with the most iconic story. I Want to Know Why by Sherwood Anderson was an American novelist and short story writer acclaimed for his introspective and self revealing in literary works. Today, we are going to learn about his one of the most famous stories. I Want to Know Why. But before that, please have a look at the most famous quote of the author. The story is told retrospectively by an unnamed first person narrator, aged 15 at the time of the events, now about a year older. He explains why he writes this story. I quote, I'm puzzled. I'm getting to be a man and want to think straight and be okay. And there is something I can't figure out. I unquote. The narrator lives in Kentucky in a small town called Bakersville. He loves all about the thoroughbred horses. He grew too big to be a rider and he cannot become a stable boy either because this is a job done by a black man. He comments, I wish I was a nigger. It's a foolish thing to say, but that's what the way I am about being around horses. Just crazy. I unquote. He, therefore, decides to be a trainer or horse owner. His father shows more understanding for his inclinations than his mother, who would, for instance, not have him get up early in the morning and walk several miles in order to watch horses training on tracks scattered around the town. The father, however, lets the narrator go as he likes. The narrator loves these trips. I quote, nothing smells better than the coffee and manure and horse and niggers and bacon, frying and pipes being smoked out of the doors and on a morning like that. I unquote. He can always tell which horse is the winner because he feels lump in his throat whenever he sees such a horse. He tells a story featuring himself and his three friends. Handley Turner, Henry Rebeck, and Tom Tumberton, all white boys from Bakersville, somewhat younger than the narrator. They share their love for horses. Henry Rebeck's father is a well-off professional gambler, which is the reason why the other boys are discouraged from mixing with him. The narrator's father, a lawyer with a modest income, is the only not to say anything against him. The narrator initiates a trip to the big race course of a thoroughbred horses in Saratoga Springs, New York. The parents would not allow the boys to go, so they ran away and make their way to Saratoga on the freight trains. They soon came across acquaintance, the black man Bildad Johnson, who works as a cook during the racing season, so that he can attend the races and spends winter working at Baker's livery barn. Bildad accommodates the boys, feeds them, and promises to keep still. The narrator likes niggers more than white men because, I quote, you can trust them, I unquote. The boys spent the Saratoga 6 enjoyable days with the fine weather and great horses. On returning, the narrator was received with reproaches from his mother. His father, however, did not say much. The narrator told his parents all what they asked him. He only kept one thing secret from them, a horrible secret. He was the only witness to the incident, and it is this very incident that keeps on puzzling him. Unlike the other boys, the narrator went to the paddocks before every race. even though he risked being caught and sent home. He was to the paddocks also before a big muffled handicap which featured two potential winners, Middle Stride and Sunstreak. Both excellent horses, but each with different qualities. The narrator discovered that the trainer of Sunstreak was one Jerry Tilford, whom he knew from Bakersville. He watched Jerry preparing his horse for the race and suddenly he knew that Sunstreak would win. His eyes met with the eyes of the trainer, and the narrator saw that Jerry felt and knew the same as he did. Sunstreak won the race, beating the world's record for a mile, and Middle Stride finished as the second. The night after the race, the narrator followed by Jerry because he wanted him to be near him. The night after the race, the narrator followed Jerry because he wanted to be near him. I quote, "I was just lonesome to see Jerry, like wanting to see your father at night when you are a young kid." I unquote. He did not hope to spot him at all, but he accidentally discovered him and some other man going in a rummy farmhouse, a whorehouse in fact. The women in there were ugly and unclean. The place smelled like a rotten, and there was a rotten talk. The narrator was shocked to hear Jerry bragging about his success with Sunstreak, as if he had won the race and not the horse. He was furious when he saw Jerry looking at one of the hard-mouthed women with the same sparkle in his eyes which he had when he had looked at Sunstreak before. The narrator hated Jerry when he went to kiss the woman. He ran away and could not sleep for what he saw. The incident keeps on haunting him. He still loves all about horses, but it is different now. I quote, "I keep thinking about it, and it spoils looking at horses and smelling things and hearing niggers laugh and everything." I unquote. The narrator still fails to understand Jerry's action. He wants to know why. After reading the story, one can well observe the themes, the main four themes of the story. That is, real life versus real life, prejudices, generation gap, and sexuality.